Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the hidden, nor sitteth in the seat that is scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in this law I see hideth sunrise and sundown. Him I go there like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth fat fruit in his season. Him leaf never I go wither, and whatsoever him doeth shall prosper. Yea! The heathen them now there, so them there like a chaff with the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never go turn upon judgment of the sinner man them in the congregation of the righteous, for the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous, and the way of the sinner man them always and always I go perish. Let the people of the Most High God say, Joe! Kadamawe gromabeya tela exact beer tana istalin abashante shante 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 shante. Kadamawe gromabe. Where two and three meeting in the name of the Most High Jah. That's so Jaja there. If Jaja never build up your house, the builder, I go build it in vain. Same way, if Jaja never watch upon your house, the watchman, I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it, and them is saved. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. How, Mauso Bulisa, Adanuoto, there was a player for. What time you more, you all adore. This is the Black Pot, aka Kokoshonamo. And here we speak truth to power is the voice of the people, and the voice of the people is the voice of God. Here we are in the service of God and country. And my name, Blakk RASTA. Now, in every traditional African home, there is a black pot. And each time this black pot sits on the fire, there is something super sumptuous cooking. Ingredients of so many different types, shapes and sizes, aromas and even flavors. Put aside all their differences and relocate into the black pot, where they are subjected to some good amount of heating. In the aftermath, they produce food. Food that is not even enjoyed by the black pot and even the ingredients. Food that is enjoyed by us, the eaters. Yet every time, the black pot and the ingredients will rise to the occasion to produce food. What lesson can we derive from this? A lesson of sacrifice, generational thinking, and selflessness. How many of us will still go ahead to plant trees that will take 30 years to grow when we know we have only 2 years more to live on earth? Are we thinking about generations yet to come? Are we ready to take care of our children and children's children in our plans? Any nation that does not plan, any nation that fails to plan is planning to fail. Any nation that has no sense of sacrifice is not deserving of being called a nation. It's an empty box. That is why right here in the black pot, all we talk about is patriotism. No politics, no ethnocentrism, no religion. This is the show for you. It's called the Black Pot. And we are live on YouTube. And our YouTube channel is Blakk Empire Media. Yes, BLAKK Empire Media. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please, you are missing a lot. Subscribe to the channel and hit on the notification bell. So each time we are on, you would be the first person to be told to watch. Now, these days, we are experiencing a lot of doomsaw all over Ghana. For that reason, we might sometimes come late. I don't want us to come a little earlier, but sometimes we may come a little earlier. But please do bear with us until we relocate to another studio where we shall have our own gadgets and equipment in terms of a plant that can give us electricity 24 hours. My brother, my sister, this is the Black Pot, aka Kokoshonamo. And here we speak truth to power. Now, today we have 4 very powerful stories we want to share with you. And I need you to come along. We are still on the 16th regional tour of Ghana. We have been to 4 regions so far. We've been to the Upper West region. We have been to the Upper East region. We have been to Northern region and Northeast region. This week on Friday, we will be going to the Savannah region, Damongo. We'll be talking to two very important schools, Ndeura Jakwa and another wonderful school which we'll bring to you later. From there, we are going to Techiman, where we shall go to two very important schools in that area. So 2 regions, my brother, my sister, this weekend. Saturday is going to be for the Savannah region, and Sunday is going to be for Techiman and its environs. My brother, my sister, we do not have any sponsor. The office of the former president, John Dramani Mahama, donated 20,000 Ghana cedis to us, and we are so grateful for that. The GTA, Ghana Tourism Authority, donated 20,000 Ghana cedis to us. And Osofuchiri Abosom of GUM decided to also give us 10,000 Ghana cedis. It is you who is donating. 100 cedis here, 200 cedis here, and some of our viewers from across the world are also sending us money via Sendwave, via Unipay, and so on and so forth. If you are touched to push us on this journey of Pan-Africanism, please, you can send us your donations as well via our bank account and also via our Momo or mobile money. We will always acknowledge you. Acknowledge receipt. This is our mobile money number, and it is a merchant account, so you can send any amount of money at all. You will not be restricted. My brother, my sister, this is our bank account right now, and it comes with a SWIFT code if you live outside Ghana. This is what it is. We want everything to be documented. We have been to 4 regions already, and when we go, we talk about patriotism. We have talked. Now we want to walk the talk. We talk to the students about patriotism. Where there is an opportunity, we go into the market space, we play music, and then we talk to the people in the market. Evangelism. And on the streets, that is what we are doing. My brother, my sister, this Friday we are going to have the first documentary from the first few schools we went to. And you will get to see exactly what happened in those schools. Sometimes we are invited to come at 8 p.m. to speak to the students. Anytime you invite us, we come. Some of the schools too are not actually budging because they are scared that Blakk Rasta might say something that will inflame passions. But we keep saying that we are on a patriotism tour, 100%, nothing else. And all the schools that we've gone to, they are inviting us back again. Other schools in those regions are calling us to come, apologizing to us for not allowing us to come. But once we leave the region, it is finished until the next round, maybe next year. So take advantage of this. Let's come and meet your wonderful students, inspire them so they can be better citizens in the future. The generations past, a lot of them failed. That is why Ghana is where it is. Ghana will never develop without patriotism. In every school we go, we hoist high the flag of Ghana. Some of the schools don't have flags. We give them flags. And we give miniature flags. We give cash prizes as well in the little quiz competitions that we have. And much more, books and the rest. Now the interesting thing is that after every session, we found what is known as the Young Patriots Club in every school. And we encourage all students to be part of it. We are taking them on excursions across Ghana and Africa to see the monumental growth of our heritage, right from when we started up to where we are now, to inspire them and make them want to die for our nation. My brother, the Americans are Americans because of patriotism. The Canadians are Canadians because of patriotism. We also can only be Ghanaians because of patriotism. We are walking the talk. Please, these days your donations have slowed down a little bit. Let the donations come up strong so that we'll continue doing this. You trust that your money will be put into good use, don't you? That is why we are here. It's the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushodemo. And here we speak truth to power. Come here, my youth. Today we have 4 stories we are looking at. Number 1, my youth. Mahama'S fears for 2024 elections revealed. Everybody going into competition has his strengths and his weaknesses. He has his fears and his hopes. Mahama is hopeful that he will win the 2024 election. He has been a president before, a vice president before, an MP before, an assemblyman before. He has been everything in Ghanaian politics before. He has more experience than a lot of politicians in Ghana. But does that alone make him the right candidate? Certainly not. Experience is the best teacher, but not every student is a good student. Mahama is touted to be the next president. And if he does that, he would have made history. A president who became president and went into opposition and came back to be president again. It's never happened in our country. He is the only president who has become a first-term president. From the days we started our democracy as a nation, any president who came in there went for the 2 maximum terms and went away. It was only Mahama. But in his own way, he was vice president who became president in default. And then also, he wants to be president again. And many Ghanaians think that they still have an affinity for a Mahama government. But Mahama has revealed that there are fears that he would lose this election if, run it my youth, if we are not vigilant on election day, our efforts will be in vain. Mahama to NDC, run the story. Wow. Did you see that? Presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has admonished party members, particularly those who would be appointed as agents in the Greater Accra region, to be vigilant in the upcoming 2024 general elections. He maintained that the Umbrella family lost the 2020 general elections due to certain irregularities. Mahama made the remarks whilst addressing NDC executives and key stakeholders during his Building Ghana tour in Accra. He stressed the need for them to strengthen their efforts to secure victory in the 2024 elections. One of the key things in his election is vigilance. Yes, one of the key things in this election is vigilance. We can do all the campaigning we want, but if we are not vigilant on the day and we don't cover every single polling station with eagle eyes, you can do all the beautiful things you can, and in the end, you don't achieve the target you want. So, Greater Accra region, we want you to cover all the polling stations with the best party agents. The election directorate, you are aware, is conducting some exercises. They have been conducting exams for election directors in their constituencies and the regions, because we need the best people who understand the electoral system to be able to monitor the elections in the region. We should not be sentimental with these appointments and appoint the right people, he advised. Dash. I am so ashamed that I live in a country where justice is not just. I am ashamed that I live in a country where justice comes at a huge price. Why should I lose the elections because I wasn't at the polling station to check stealing? That's what Mahama is saying. If we were patriotic enough and decent as we were supposed to be, we would only send party agents and election appointees there and officials only to collate and send to us. But this is the case. We have a fear that people will steal the election. This is the case. We have the fear that if we don't have our people at the polling stations with eagle eyes, they would invite us to tea and give us carbon biscuits and steal the elections. With all respect to Metal Nunu. My brother, my sister, it is so hurtful that we are going into an election and some people would like to steal the franchise of the people. In other words, de-enfranchise them. What does it profit a man to force himself on the people when they are not ready for him? That's how I see elections. You should go into an election with clean hands and a clean mind. Let the election be a true reflection of the people's needs. Let the election be a true reflection of what exactly the people wanted. Now, if you force yourself on the people by stealing the elections, they will fight you. Remember that the silent majority that did not like you, but you forced them yourselves on them by stealing the elections, would always criticize you. They will fight you until they make sure that you don't have enough sleep. They might topple you. These are the things that bring about coup d'etats in the nation. In some countries, they truly want to have free and fair elections so that the majority will truly be the majority. Mahama'S said something, and I'm tempted to agree with him. He said in the last elections, the NDC lost because of lack of vigilance. I believe it's true. They even went to court and they couldn't say anything. They thought they had a good lawyer. And for that matter, a good lawyer should be able to win under every circumstances. It's not true. He needs evidence. In our elections, it's about who can steal most. In our election, we do not have a true reflection of the voting. People are bribed to vote. People are coerced, in other words, forced. Under duress, some people vote for some candidates that they never thought about. Is that one to an election? When would we ever have an election that truly represents the people? If I were going into any election, I would like a free and fair election, even if I was in power. Because I want to be able to tell exactly how many people truly want me and how many people don't want me. If I force myself by bribing my way through, by using force to win an election, I would only be deceiving my stupid self that I have a 60% majority when I truly had only 20%. I am counting my enemies as my friends, and that is foolishness. It's tomfoolery. When would African leaders come to the realization that they need a true reflection of an election? The election is supposed to be a statistical report as to the real reflection of the voting. So when you know that this is the percentage of people you have, you work to keep them and even win more. But when you deceive yourself that you have this majority which you don't have, they would always oppose you. They will steal and make sure that your government doesn't work. It's like forcing an enemy on the people. I don't know how many people are listening to me, and I don't know how many people understand exactly what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is simple. It is a shame that African elections are always rigged. The incumbent is always spending money to bribe people to vote. And they will tell you that, sadly, African elections are all about money. It's foolishness. African election should not be about money. African election should be about content. It should be about the manifesto. It should be about the candidates and their vision. Unfortunately, no. You can have the best vision. God himself can draft your manifesto. God himself can point at you and say, you are the best president for the nation. Yet they will go for a hoodlum. All because he's giving them bribes. The electorate is looking for who gives him the biggest bribe so he can vote for him. Finally, we lose out because we are not a smart people. I pray that these elections are fair and free. I pray that there is vigilance. I pray that people would be honest enough to vote according to their dictates, to vote according to what they see within the economy and beyond. It's a blackboard. Come here. AKA Kukushunamo, where we speak truth to power. Bring the photo of Mahama and get me the photo of Said Sinari. Said Sinari is spelled S-A-I-D. Sinari is S-I-N-A-R-E. Mahama has said something that Said Sinari, who has been with the party for over how many years, has also said. He said, if the NDC is not vigilant in this election, it will lose. Sadly, it looks like all the statistics coming out, everything is pointing in the direction of the NDC. On paper, the NDC has won the election already. True? Everybody's fed up with the Nana Addo government, the Baumia mate government and all that. They are all looking towards the biggest opposition party, the NDC. And the NDC is parading Mahama as the presidential candidate and Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. I don't like old men in politics. They can be in the Council of Elders and old women as well. 72, I think, is too much. For somebody like Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman to be paraded as vice president. But I'm excited about her for one reason. That one, she's an academician, and two, she is not a politician. She's not. She's just like Atta Mills. She is not here to do politics. She's here to talk reality. When I see people who are not politicians come into politics like this, it's a little refreshing than politicians who parade a plethora of lies to have us put them into power. Said Sinari said the same thing. He has been a member of the party for so long. In fact, he sacrificed for the party several years ago. And this is Said Sinari with Mahama. He also said a couple of weeks ago that the NDC should prepare for another defeat if the polling stations are not guided and guided properly. And that party foot soldiers should be those who should go there. Unfortunately, this is the reality. It's the black pot, aka Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. It's like invigilation in a school. When invigilators go to a school, in fact, unfortunately, it shouldn't be about stopping people from cheating. It should be about who needs extra paper and who needs a spare pen. But no, when the invigilators go to the school, they are watching with eagle eyes those who are there to steal. What kind of students are we bringing up? We should instill in them the discipline of decency. When you go to America, England, and those places, and invigilators go into an examination hall, most of the time, they are not there to prevent students from cheating because they know they shouldn't cheat. Of course, we have the instances where this negates the whole thing. They are there to provide water to who wants it. They are there to provide extra paper to who wants it. They are there to help students who need an extra pen. But here, we must have eagle eyes, witches and wizards' eyes. We are devising means of stealing in examinations every time. That's why we translate into cheating adults. Students now can write examination answers under the soles of their feet. They can put papers and foreign material into their socks. Some can even put that in their mouth. Some can even put them in places so uncomfortable I don't want to mention on radio. To the point that the females have found it very comfortable to hide foreign material where babies are supposed to be comfortably coming out. What is this? The more the hunter tries to shoot without missing, is the same way the bird tries to fly without perching. In other words, they say as the birds are learning to fly without perching, the hunters are also learning to shoot without missing. That is very real in this country. The more we catch people with the tricks that they use in stealing, the more they devise more tricks to be able to push us away. It's the black pot, aka Kokoshonomo. I pray we have a peaceful and a fair election that will represent fairly what the voting should truly be. Is the black pot, aka Kokoshonomo. And here we speak truth to power. Next story, my youth. Come here. Duncan Williams apologizes for being absentee father. Wow, this is deep. You remember recently, who is Duncan Williams? Archbishop Duncan Williams. They call him the the father of Pentecostalism in Ghana. He was the one who brought the whole Pentecostal energy and fire into this country from Nigeria and made it hotter. People praying in talks and boxing the devil, kicking the devil, using machetes to chase the devil and all that. This is the kingpin of that whole movement. Oh yes, he was a son of Idahosa, Archbishop Idahosa, right there in Nigeria. He has one of the biggest congregations in Ghana and beyond. He's a very powerful man of God. When he preaches, he's full of energy. He also doubles as a counselor, advising people in their marriages, but in his own marriage. He's divorced once, remarried, and now he's saying that he's not been a good father. He's been an absentee father. Shall we listen to him talk about that? Archbishop Duncan Williams.
One of my sons, he don't call me dad. I've done everything to say, listen, I'm not saying, call me dad. And he keeps unconsciously calls me sir. Because he never saw me as a dad as he was growing up. He saw me as sir. He saw me as this anointed, gifted, powerful man of God, but not a dad. Because I was never around to play with him, to do things with him, so he can see me as a dad and a friend. And I'm trying to make it up, to work at it, to bridge the gap. And he takes everything you can take, you can think of. He takes every grace. He takes every humility. He takes all your humanity. Madula kasa, wasalahatu kifalu salas. Madi kusan kutan de kasi. I was talking to one of my bishops, and I said, young man, how many kids you have? He told me, what is their ages? And I said, please make time for those kids. I said, you can replace your wife, you can replace anybody, but you can't replace those kids. They are bone of your bone, flesh of your. Because a time will come when it may be too late, and it will only take a divine intervention to bridge the gap. So they grow up. They grow up with all kinds of attitudes. And sometimes you actually say, what is this? What's going on here? It began a long time ago. We call them trauma. Trauma. And it creates triggers. Things will trigger them. The trauma causes triggers. And you see them doing things, acting out of character. And you actually say, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just miss certain moments. There are moments in life that fathers and mothers must never miss. Adela ki salatazund, ketu kusand, kela kusu wadala hasa, adeli ki motun ki falasid. One of my children's birthday was up, and he said, Dad, my birthday is up. I need you to be around. And I was supposed to travel. So I called my travel agent and I said, you know what? Cancel the ticket. Said it will cost me. I said, it doesn't matter what it costs me. Cancel the ticket. And she said, Dad, you can travel. You can go. I'm fine. I'm okay. And I said, no, you are not okay. I'll be around. I'm not going. Even though she said you.
Well, you heard Archbishop Duncan Williams confessing. He's talking to his junior pastors to make time for their children. We all remember one of his sons showing his nakedness on social media, using all kinds of drugs, coming back to apologize to the father, and going back into the same old nonsense on social media again. He has embarrassed his father so much. And when you read the book of Proverbs, it tells you that a disgraceful son is one who disgraces his father. You should train up a child the way he should grow. So when he grows, he will never depart from it. The Bible tells you in the book of Proverbs, that do not spare the rod so you don't spoil the child. The rod is only an instrument or a yardstick or a symbol of discipline. It doesn't mean pick up a stick and beat and kill your child. It's like they say, Accra said today that the president of Ghana has blah, blah, blah. Accra represents the seat of power. In literature, we call that sine. You can also call that symbolism. It's a symbol of discipline. Spare the rod and spoil the child. It means throw away discipline and you spoil the child. But some people see that to be beat your children. That's not what it means. That's what the Archbishop is talking about. He was so busy going around the world preaching Christ and winning more souls. Yet in his own house, he lost all the souls. He didn't have time for his children's birthdays. He didn't have time to tell his children, I love you, my son. I love you, my daughter. He didn't have time to sit by their bedsides and sing lullabies. He didn't have time to enter into the house and see his children run to him and say, Dada, 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 Dada. What did you bring, Dada? What did you bring, Dada? No. He was out there winning souls. But in his own house, the devil was busily winning the souls of his own family. A lot of us run after money so much we forget our families. Like he said, you can replace everybody in your life. Your wife. You chose your wife. You chose your friend. But you can never choose your family. We are born into a family. We never choose a family. You don't choose your mother. Do you choose your father? Do you choose your brother? Do you choose your sister? No, they are divinely chosen for you. Do you choose your son? Do you choose your daughter? No. They are chosen for you. You can't replace them. It's a very wonderful piece of advice to all of us. When we are busily looking for spirituality, we forget that spirituality begins at our doorstep. To keep your family together is part of faith. To love your family is part of faith. How do you go out to love other families without loving your family first? Archbishop Duncan Williams has spoken. Run the story, my youth. In this story published by Ghana Web, he says, I was never there for my kids. Duncan Williams opens up about relationship with his children. Run it, my youth. So the founder of the Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, has opened up about the challenges of balancing his ministry with family life, particularly in his role as a father. According to him, his inability to balance the demands of both roles as a minister of the gospel and a father had led to a disconnection between him and his children. Dash. He said when he wants his children to call him daddy, they call him sir. He says, call me dad. They say, sir, dad. They don't have that connection. Have we learned a lesson from this? Think about it deeply. Men of God are human. They make mistakes. But when they make mistakes, we make it look like they are superhuman. They should never have made those mistakes. Some men of God also carry themselves like demigods. And for that matter, when they make mistakes, people are shocked. Others come at them because they had always played God. Archbishop Duncan Williams, there couldn't have been a better time to give this message about family. And I'm excited he did that. I respect that. It's the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushonemo. And here we speak truth to power. Come here, my youth. When we return, we got more. Hey! Wayo!
Tuna
Greetings, countrymen. My name is Blakk Rasta. When I was growing up as a child, there was something called a courtesy for boys and girls that helped to train us and raise us up in patriotism. But today, a lot of this patriotism has been lost. Today, our children are beginning to lose everything in terms of our heritage. They have lost out on our history, lost out on our greatness. It is on the bedrock of this I am embarking on a nationwide tour of patriotism. Remember, it's patriotism, not politics. We shall go to all the 16 regions of Ghana. And in every region, we will organize students and speak to them about patriotism. We will organize a small quiz competition where we shall give prizes out. And these prizes are going to be prizes that are souvenirs from Ghana. Right after that, we will organize a certain concert, either in the market space or even on the streets, accessible to everybody. And we will catch the music lovers and deliver the same message to them. It's on the bedrock of this. I would like you to be part of this. Please donate to this great cause. We are raising a next generation of patriots. It's the lack of patriotism that is making us steal from our own country. It's the lack of patriotism that makes us feel like when we steal from the government, we are stealing from space. It's the lack of patriotism that makes us owe allegiance to some foreigners more than us. It's the lack of patriotism that makes foreigners come into this country and behave like demigods, and we see them as such. My brother, my sister, donate so we can move out there. Maybe you want to give us something else in kind. We are ready for you. Our numbers are rolling on the screens, and you can donate into our bank account or onto our phone number, and we will gladly appreciate and acknowledge you. This is the National Patriotism Tour that we have taken on ourselves to make sure that the nation, Ghana, stands tall again like before. My name is Blakk Rasta, and I thank you for listening. God bless you. Ghana shall prosper. Ghana will rise again. Bless you.
Go on, Skipper George.
Blackpot, Coco Show, man.
Bless you. Ghana shall rise again. Well, my name is Blakk Rasta, and it's a Blackpot, a.k.a. Coco Show, where we speak truth to power. Come here, my youth. Now, let's check out what you think. Let's see the messages that you have been sending all this while. And let's see if we can interact with you whilst the Blackpot is on. Remember to send your donations in. Yusuf Majid, you gave us 20 Ghana cedis. Thank you so much. Patrick Note, you gave us 50 Ghana cedis. Ibrahim Fusaini gave us 50 Ghana cedis. We appreciate you and we thank you. Salifu Mohammed also gave us something beautiful. How much did he give us? Salifu Mohammed Hafiz, he gave us 50 Ghana cedis. We appreciate you. Zacha Emmanuel, a.k.a. Governor, says, welcome, Daddy Blakk. And he says, Ja, says the name is Zacha Emmanuel, the same name. All right, so we'll check it out. He says, please, can I get the office number? It's 0244 499 461. 0244 499 461. 0244 499 461. And it's rolling on the screen, so you will also see that as well. Yes, Gosway Jata says, welcome, Blakk Rasta. Oyo. Justice Ayariga says it's locked in. Gideon Borkete Borte Akwaba says, welcome, Blakk. Now, the election that was held in Parliament brought in soldiers. And we had young men watching at that time. I pray it will be a free and fair election this year. Yeah, I mean, there are signs that this election will be bloody. We saw what happened in Parliament when soldiers had to come in with guns. People chewed ballot paper like pregnant goats in the Parliament House. These are people who want us to call them honorables. What a shame. It's a shame. Next story, my youth. You think say you day wise. Anti-gay bill will destroy MPP. And this is Martin AMIDU talking. Alamisi, Martin AMIDU. He's the failed man that we brought in as special prosecutor, the very first one. We had so much hope that he would make it happen. But when he came, he ran out in broad daylight like a pregnant toad. He disappointed the country. We expected him to discipline the president because he had the power to do that. Expose him and his dirty government. But he couldn't. He ran away expecting that we would clap for him. Joker. Well, he has a message for the NPP and the whole of Ghana, and why he thinks that the president will never sign this so-called anti-gay bill. Run it, my youth. Anti-gay bill. NPP can't break the 8 if Akufo-Addo signs the bill. And this is Martin Alamisi AMIDU speaking. Run it, my youth. Lawyer and former special prosecutor Martin AMIDU has argued that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's aim of winning a third consecutive 4-year presidential term for the new Patriotic Party will not materialize if he signs the Anti-LGBTQI+ Act into law. In an article asserting that it will amount to political suicide if President Akufo-Addo signs the Anti-LGBTQI+ Act into law, Mr. AMIDU explained that the president has over the years built a relationship with the geopolitical West, and since signing the act into law will offend them and compromise his ability to win the upcoming general elections for the NPP, he will not sign it. As I told my interlocutors then, self-preservation is the first law of nature. And Nana Akufo-Addo will be committing suicide to assent the LGBTQI+ bill passed by Parliament into law. Nana Akufo-Addo's long game, the aura he had built around himself as a Democrat in the Western tradition, and all the integration efforts he has invested in will come to naught should he assent to the bill. Wow! Upon passage. The fact that other citizens closely watching the Ghanaian political scene knew the difficulty the bill was going to face when it got to the desk of the president was articulated by no less a person than Minority Leader Atu Forson. He argued. Dash. Bring me the first page. I need to see something here. Listen. Now the second paragraph here says, in an article asserting that it will amount to political suicide if President Akufo-Addo signs the Anti-LGBT law act into law, Mr. AMIDU explained that the president has over the years built a relationship with the geopolitical West. Listen, over the years. And since signing the act into law would offend them and compromise his ability to win the upcoming general elections for the NPP, he will not sign that shit away. I finished. Listen, it's about pleasing the West. And if you don't please the West, you will lose the election. Hey! Are you thinking like me? Ghanaian election and is controlled by the West. If you offend the West, you will lose a Ghanaian election. The Westerners are not Ghanaians. They do not vote, yet they have enough power to control your elections. What Martin AMIDU is saying is the truth. It happened in other countries in Africa. Leaders who fought against the West and stood their grounds against the West, they were removed. Sankara refused to go to the IMF and the World Bank. They realized that if they allowed him to prosper, other African countries would do same and follow suit by refusing the IMF and the World Bank. So what did they do? They finished him. It happened in Libya. It happened in our own Ghana. When Nkrumah said no to the IMF and the World Bank, when Nkrumah decided to stand his grounds against the West, what did they do? They sent the CIA, the FBI, and the rest of them after our Kwame Nkrumah and removed him. Today, CIA declassified files are attesting to that fact that we knew long ago. We don't have a country. Can Ghana control the American election? What do they care about you? They can offend you as much as they want. You can't contribute jack to their election. They can offend you, insult you, like that Kamala Harris did here. Are you listening to my grammar? Like that Kamala Harris did here. I'm not saying that Kamala Harris. Like what Kamala Harris did here. That's grammar. My brother, when Kamala Harris came here into the country, I don't care what you stand for. I don't care what your laws say. I don't care what you think and believe. LGBTQI plus is an issue of human rights. Nothing more, and nobody can change my mind. Such arrogance. Can you say this in Saudi Arabia? Can you go and say this in Iraq? They will roast you slowly over a fire that is blazing. And they'll be holding swords, standing by shouting, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They'll be going around, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. But you can come to us because we are weak. We are stupid. Listen to what Martin AMIDU is saying. I'm a student of literature. So when I read with 4 eyes. The human eyes and the supernatural eyes. Martin AMIDU is saying that if Nana Akufo-Addo makes a mistake to sign this, he is going to displease his masters in the West. And they will make sure that he loses this election for the NPP. Simple. It's not about Ghanaians. You Ghanaians, who are you? Can you decide an election? It's the West. When the West came to Ghana and wanted Nkrumah out, they bribed people like Afrifa, Emmanuel Kotoka, and the rest of them money. And they quickly sold out one of their own and finished him out. They got Hufwe Boigny to supply bombs to kill Nkrumah. When Nkrumah refused to die, he used his own people to remove him. We don't have a nation. We are puppeted by the West because we've eaten so much Western food, we have become slaves to the West. We can't make a decision on our own. It's not about LGBT. It's about every other decision that is against the West. Whatever decision we must make must please the West, or else they will come down on us. That's what Martin AMIDU is saying. Are we safe? Are we a nation? Or we are joking? You heard what the president said to Kamala Harris. Oh, Madam Vice President, don't worry. Do not worry. Let Parliament do whatever it wants to do. At the end of the day, that bill will come to my table for my final signature. Thank God, the president is not the only decider. They can go back to Parliament, and if they get 2/3 majority, that law can still be passed. And again, as I said, it's not about LGBTQI+. It's about our sovereignty, and it's about how we can also make our decisions. That's what I'm talking about. I've traveled around and I've met gays, proper thinking gays, and so on and so forth. I will not harm any gay, but my sovereignty is my sovereignty. Allow me to exercise my independence franchise. Don't continue puppeting me. And Martin AMIDU said it right. Nana Akufo-Addo will never sign this. They want to waste time so that they will get out of power. And the same NPP people, when they are out of power, they will be pushing this government to pass the LGBTQI+ bill so that it will be on their heads. It's like a man who is about to die. He just needs one blow and he's dead. But nobody wants to be called a murderer. So nobody is ready to give the final blow, even though this is a bad man. Do you get it? He's a very terrible man. We all don't like him. But nobody wants to deliver the last blow that will kill him. And the tag of murderer will be on his head. I'm sure if NDC was in power, this bill would still be a problem to them to pass. Wait and see. They will delay. It's It's the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kukushodomo, where we speak truth to power. When we return, we have one more story. We shall take your messages as well, and we'll be done. Hey! Wayo!
Blakk Pot. Coco show, man.
It's the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Coco Show, and here we speak truth to power. Next story, my youth. And this is where we close it. Peter, Paul, Akan Nyendipo gave us 1,000 Ghana cedis. We thank you so much. It helped so much. New Ghana president will struggle. We all know that, right? We all know that the new Ghana president will struggle. If it is Osofu Chirabosum, he will struggle. If it is whoever, Mahama, what's his name, Baumia, they will struggle. Why? There's a man who thinks that Dumso is going to be a very big problem in the next government. It started already. Who is this man? What is this man saying? Who is he? He's a lecturer at the university. And he has said something we already know. Whoever becomes president in 2025 is walking straight into power crisis. And his name is Edward Bawa. Run it. He's the member of parliament for Bongo. Bongo, I beg your pardon. Edward Bawa, member of parliament for Bongo, has commented on the impending power crisis that the next president of Ghana in 2025 will likely face. Edward Bawa's remarks come amidst the backdrop of ongoing electricity challenges in the country. I emphasize, with whoever, I empathize with whoever becomes president in 2025, and which I hope will be John Mahama. He's walking straight into power crisis. Yes, a power crisis. Bawa said on Good Morning Ghana on Tuesday, March 5, and monitored by Ghana Web. Edward Bawa attributed this political crisis to what he perceives as governmental negligence in adequately addressing the country's energy needs. Dash it away. I still cannot understand why the hot sun is our birthright, and yet we cannot put the hot sun into solar energy. Hey, you can't walk 2 centimeters without the sun slapping your cringing brows. And we cannot do solar energy. We are still counting on gas, yet we have all the oil coming from this country where we can get gas from. We are now importing gas. The other day I visited a Electoral gas plant there in Zima. I was told that they produce enough gas for the whole nation and to even export to Nigeria and other places. So what's happening to us? Political negligence, foolishness, lack of patriotism. That is what Edward Bawa is saying, and it's true. They are just managing these problems. When you go to a wedding or a funeral, there's a certain prayer that Mosi people like. And the Malams know that. So they will say this prayer. And Mosi people will get up giving money, giving money. You know what the prayer is. Na ungum tene table. Na wungumte ne table. You know what table is? May God protect us from table. Table is something which is not your problem. But as you go to separate, the problem now becomes your problem. Two people are fighting. Oh, stop. Oh, it's not good to fight. As you go in between them, try to separate them, somebody gives you a punch in the nose. Pow! And your nose is bleeding. Your eye is even about to come out. Or you succeed in separating. Then one man says, you were the one who separated us and he got the chance to slap me. Then he is now fighting with you. Table. Now, table. A problem that you did not start now becomes your main problem. Table. Now, table. I pray that prayer for you. Sometimes you go into an area like me when I was a child. Table was always my problem. Other children will play with something and break it. And then they'll put it back quietly onto the shelf. I'll see it. Yay! Then pow! It breaks in your hand. Ah! You have broken the toy. Table. A friend and his girlfriend were fighting. And I decided to go and help out. And when I started talking, my friend got angry and then went away. Later, as I was talking with the girl, she started to fall asleep. Kakra. I mean, he had been beaten by the guy badly. Now, talking to the girl, she got suited and cool. She fell asleep and she put her head on my shoulder. And I didn't want to push her off so that, she was there. Then my friend comes and says, ah! So this is why I've been suspecting that you and this girl have been doing things. Table. Now, I'm going to the table. Radio station. I've worked with so many radio stations. Some people will come in and break the headphone. They will put it there quietly. You come because you are Rasta man energy. Ah, you pick the phone, whap on your head. Absentee. Hey, Black Rasta. What bu headphone no? Table. Now I'm going to the table. Most people like this prayer. So every funeral or wedding, when the malam just says, "Na wungum tini table," people bring money for that prayer. You hear, most people, they don't like table. This Dumso is a table problem. Nanado said he has sorted it out. We kicked out Mahama because of table. This thing was almost sorted out when Mahama was going about. We still were angry with him for the several moments of Dumso. Nanado said he will solve it. And when he came here, we were seeing light. Everything was okay. Now that he's leaving power. Table. To God be the glory. This is the Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushonamo. It's because of these reasons I keep telling President Mahama, please don't make obnoxious promises, inordinate promises. Tell them you will take time to fix Ghana that has been broken. People will give you pressure, whether you promise or not, but it's better to get the pressure without promises than pressure with promises. They will hold you to your word. It's better for people to say, since you became president, we haven't seen you do too much. Rather than you promise you will do this, you will do it like Baumia, king of promises. It's a Black Pot, a.k.a. Kukushonomo. Come here, where we speak truth to power. Na ungum tene table. Na ungum tene table. Na ungum tene table. Let's look at your comments and we'll be done for the day. Come here, my youth. Inusa is talking. Inusa Fatao. And he says, a day without this class is like a day without food. In fact, Black, you are my great role model. Keep the good work. When we speak truth to power. Gideon Borkete Bortei Akwaba says, I really like it when most of the stories are backed up with video clips. Hallelujah. One boy says, welcome back, Black. 2 days. I missed the show live today. But I said I'll watch it and I'll watch it. Stanley Opari. Oh my God. This is the Ice Cubes man. Powerful Ice Cubes man. He says, Black, I'm so touched by what the Archbishop said. Bless you, Blakk Rasta. Hallelujah. Thank you so much, Stanley Opare, for this one. Yeah, the Archbishop spoke. And we are happy he did. It's the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kokushonomo, where we speak truth to power. Please continue to donate to the 16 regional tour. We've done 4 so far, so we have done 25% of the tour. Next week, in fact, this week we'll be completing another one, and by next week, that will be 6 gone. We will break a little bit for the Easter break because students will not be in school for the 1 week, then we'll return. In the interim is the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kokushonomo. Come here, where we speak truth to power. I love you, and I appreciate you. On behalf of the team here, we say, hey! Wayo!